Hi everybody, and thank you for
Hi.
joining us. It's
David.
and Melody, and we're going to be coming to you going through details of food, more specifics like what kind of fats, what the sweeteners, what does that all mean, what is it going to look like. And again, this is for the week one. We're starting off with non-inflammatory foods, so we're just going to start digging in. This is going to be a little bit of a longer video just because we're going to go through a lot of stuff, but this is just for your benefit. So I'm gonna let David start with water and how that's really important.
Yep, water is super important, like Melody was saying. A lot of times when we get into a new challenge or a new diet or just trying to be healthier or lose weight or what have you, we jump into a lot of details before we discuss water. And we wanted to discuss water first because our bodies are literally made up like 60-70% water. So we really can't overlook one of the most important nutrients that we can have. But I'll encourage you on this challenge, make sure you're getting enough and make sure you're trying to challenge yourself on drinking a better or more pure source of water, because it does matter. You want to have clean, estrogen-free, plastic-free water every single day. Otherwise, it can be a huge source of toxins for you. So roughly take half your body weight in ounces, and that's how many ounces of water you should drink a day. That's kind of the rule of thumb.
Mm-hmm. So an example would be, obviously, if you were 150 pounds, then you'd want to drink at least 75 ounces of water or more if you're working out.
Right. So just take your body weight, half it in ounces, and if you are working out, I think they say a full 16 ounces or maybe more per hour you're working out.
Mm-hmm.
So just make sure you're staying super well hydrated when you're working out, and then make sure you're getting a pure source of water. If you have a well or city water, it'd be a good idea to get a filter, either a filter system or just like a Berkey filter you can put on your countertop and do it that way.
But the best type of water is spring water. So that would be the first. If you want the first and best option, it's spring water. The second best would kind of be your reverse osmosis system kind of water. That's what we have. I know a lot of people aren't able to get that, but you can buy like distilled water and stuff too. You can buy spring water in like gallon jugs. You know, you can do those different things. You can buy spring water in plastic bottles, obviously, but like he said, you got to be careful with the estrogens coming from that as well. Especially, you don't want to have like bottled water sitting like in the sun or somewhere hot, where like some of those plastics and things can leak in to your water. So just getting any kind of whatever you have available to you, really, just drink more water. Make sure you're drinking water and staying hydrated. And what's another thing that can help is people are going through this and maybe they are feeling maybe dehydrated or getting headaches or different things. What can they take?
Well,
also to help with that, or what kind of maybe electrolytes?
Yeah, I think
helpful.
A lot of times when you're drinking a lot of water, you're missing some of those minerals and those salts. So what we do sometimes is just put a pinch of Celtic sea salt right in your water. It's a really cheap, healthy way to get those minerals and the salts. If you've ever seen a Gatorade commercial, they do a good job of making you think that you need what they offer, because athletes lose more than just sweat, right? We've all seen that commercial. And while that's true, Gatorade puts in a bunch of other crap and sugar that your athletes don't really need. But regardless, you do lose minerals, you do lose some of those things in your sweat and on your day-to-day body functioning. So making sure, like I said, one of the simplest ways to do it, although it's not super tasty, is to put some good Himalayan pink salt or Celtic sea salt in your water.
Yep, you could do like half a teaspoon if you really feel dehydrated. I'm gonna take a picture eventually of the different kinds of electrolytes that we have, that we like take on a daily basis. When we were talking about water, like reverse osmosis water and things, sometimes the minerals aren't all back in there depending on what kind of system you have. So we like to try to add trace minerals, if we can remember, to our water, and I'll be showing you down the road kind of the ones that we use for that.
We'll dive into that more, but there's a lot of pretty healthy electrolyte mixes out there that can be super helpful if you're concerned about that. So more to come on that, but for now, just make sure you're drinking plenty of water.
So now we're gonna jump in. We're gonna try to fly through this, and maybe we'll try to not talk so much on all these because we have a lot to kind of go through. But protein, right? We're gonna wanna be eating protein at the beginning of each meal. So say for example, you're having breakfast and you're maybe having some quinoa, some kind of quinoa dish for breakfast. That's just a different type of grain, and we'll kind of go into what that is a little bit. And like bacon or something. Now quinoa has protein in it too, but like I always like to try to eat my meats first, or if I'm like having berries and nuts, I like to try to eat my nuts first, so getting that protein in first. Now, what kind of proteins you guys can have. So on the list, you know, we have enjoying grass-fed meats, wild-caught fish, free-range poultry, and eggs, and then any like wild game. I didn't put that in there, but that's obviously another one that's a really great one. I mean, that can be venison, that can be elk, that can be pheasant, that can be caribou, it can be, I mean, a whole bunch of different things. And so when you're looking at your meats, you want to make sure you're getting grass-fed meats. Organic is going to be the best as you're going through this non-inflammatory, but I know that's just not in everyone's budget, and we understand that. So when you're looking at labels, you can try to look for free range, no hormones added, no antibiotics, and that's going to be a really, really good option. If you're not even able to even purchase that, then I would recommend more so leaning towards more wild meats for sure, and like red meats versus chicken, because chicken is usually pumped full a lot of antibiotics or hormones and different things. But if you're finding free range poultry, free range eggs, that's going to be really, really good, beneficial kind of for the meats. And then you can kind of talk about some of the other good fat options.
Yeah, it's really important to make sure you're incorporating plenty of healthy fat. It's going to help your brain function. It's going to actually help you lose fat. It's going to help you stay more focused at your job. It's going to help you stay fuller longer. Lots of awesome things that fat really does. But you got to make sure that you're eating the right fats. And so a lot of those types of things are things like avocados are a really good source of one. Ghee, grass-fed ghee, avocado oil.
Now explain what ghee is quick.
Ghee is just clarified butter. We've got
Show
an
you guys.
example of it actually here.
Yep.
But basically it's grass-fed organic butter, and then they take it and they heat it up to a certain temp to the point where the casein protein leaves, and it is just fat. So there's no trace of protein left in there, which is actually what your bodies react to in allergic reactions. So a lot of people that are allergic to dairy can have ghee just fine. So that's kind of a cool option, and you get the really good fats that grass-fed dairy can offer without some of the negative side effects. So avocado oil is another cooking oil that we like to use.
Yes.
Pretty much use this on all of our vegetables that we'll either fry or bake or what have you.
Yep. Kale chips.
Yep.
Also, when you're baking, really great if you're frying eggs. We really like using this avocado spray. I get it from Thrive Market, but there's a lot of grocery stores that carry it now.
Yep.
And like he said, I wanted to make a point on the oils specifically. A lot of, I mean, these oils, like you mentioned, ghee obviously is a good fat. Avocados, avocado oil, there's grapeseed oil, and extra virgin olive oil. Now, the one thing with extra virgin olive oil, you cannot cook with it. And maybe you've grown up cooking with it forever. That's just what you do. You didn't even know that that was bad, like to cook with. Extra virgin olive oil is meant to go on and be used raw, not cooked or heated. So like raw on salads or after you cook meals or making dressings, that type of thing. You don't want to be cooking with it because it doesn't have a high smoke point, and it actually oxidizes the oil, and then it's not very good for you anymore.
Pretty toxic.
Yes. So avocado oil has a very high smoke point where you can actually deep fry in avocado oil, and it's not gonna be completely altered like extra virgin olive oil would be. Yeah. So that's a really great note. to know about. And then also grapeseed oil, same type of thing, that has a higher smoke point as well.
Yep.
And then coconut stuff.
Yep. Coconut stuff for MCT oil, coconut oil, all that is good fats, even grass-fed, grass-finished bacon. Obviously that has some good fats in it.
You can keep the fat after you
Yep.
make the bacon, and then you can put it on your veggies, and it tastes so good.
Yep.
So delicious.
Cream, like you can get heavy whipping cream from goat's milk or other sources like coconuts. So like we don't use dairy, and we're encouraging a lot of people not to use cow dairy because it can be one of the most inflammatory foods. But you still can get that heavy cream taste by incorporating some goat milk
Coconut.
cream or some
Yep.
goat milk or some
Goat
coconut.
milk, yeah,
milk
I
cream.
would say coconut cream because goat milk cream is extremely hard to find. But
Yeah.
if you focus on coconut cream, you can put that in your coffee. You may even see in some grocery stores there's some coconut creamers. Now you just got to be careful. Look at the ingredients on the back. Is there a bunch of sugar added? So those are the types of things you want to be watching out. So those are the good fats. Then we're going to jump down to just vegetables in general. Key points that you're always going to remember and kind of just have the back of your mind every day is make sure you're eating double the amount of vegetables as you are fruit, because we all have a sweet tooth. Our sugar cravings will not go away until we die. So let's just be honest. Even the healthiest people don't just crave a salad. They'd rather have some organic chocolate or something like that. Now, fruit sugar, you just got to be careful with that. We really encourage berries during this wellness challenge. So that's your raspberries, your blueberries, strawberries. There's even some other berries in it. Goji berries, yep, elderberries, all that kind of stuff. And then even green apples, because those have the least amount of sugar in different kinds of apples. So green apples are good too. You can do other fruits. If you don't have diabetes, you don't have cancer, you don't have some other diseases, you can have other fruits. Just have them sparingly, because some fruits like bananas are extremely high in sugar. Pineapples have a lot of sugar, so do mangoes and some tropical fruits. So just be careful there. And always a good bet is going for your berries, and you can get frozen ones to make smoothies, whatever you want, really.
Yeah.
And then vegetables, I'll let you talk about vegetables a little bit here.
Yeah, vegetables is something, guys, that nobody really likes a lot, to be honest. So it's actually exciting to talk about vegetables because when I first got married, as you can attest to, I did not eat any vegetables. I grew up not having them ever. It was always, meat and potatoes and maybe some pasta or something like that.
Chicken Alfredo.
Lots of that kind of stuff. So actually sitting down and eating a helping of broccoli or cauliflower or Brussels sprouts was really unthinkable. Like I couldn't even imagine actually doing that and liking it. Like it's almost like a punishment, like I was cutting weight for wrestling or something. But now I can actually say that through the years we've come across some recipes and just lived a different lifestyle to the point where I really do enjoy. We just had them yesterday, an amazing deep fried Brussels sprout recipe that I think Melody actually shared on her page yesterday. So
Today.
if you haven't got a chance, check that out. It's amazing. But my point in all that is really saying we encourage you guys to eat twice as many vegetables as fruit every single day, and to try to get those cruciferous vegetables in. Those are the most important. Those are going to help encourage those detox pathways, help balance out estrogens, all kinds of amazing things. Those cruciferous vegetables, those are your broccoli, your Brussels sprouts, your cauliflower, your kale, your kohlrabi, those kinds of cabbage, those kinds of
kale. The whole family, there's a lot of cruciferous vegetables.
Yeah.
And I can put a list out there too if you're wondering, but stick with maybe if you already eat vegetables, obviously eat the ones that you eat and then add in something new. If you don't eat vegetables, then anything is really going to be new for you. And just so we don't spend too much time on this, so we can keep rolling through here, Any other vegetables like zucchini, like squash, those are gonna be good. Zucchini's got a lot of water in it, so do cucumbers. You know, some of these I don't have on the list, but basically almost any vegetable. The only ones that we're gonna caution you on are like regular potatoes. Those aren't gonna be horrible, but again, if you have diabetes or cancer or something like that and you already kind of have issues with sugar, we're going to advise you to skip that and to also skip rice and wheat, which we'll get into here.
And while those things aren't necessarily quote unquote illegal in this challenge, if it is your goal to lose weight, I just wanted to touch on it really is in your best interest to stop all the sugar, which is including the potatoes, the rice, anything that has carbs in it.
Oats. Yep.
Anything that has a carbohydrate in it is going to turn into sugar at some point in your digestive process. So that's going to be sugar for you, and it's going to contribute to weight gain and diabetes and all that kind of stuff. So if that is a concern for you, and a lot of people it is about weight loss for the most part, then I would encourage you to try to stay away from all of the carbohydrates as much as possible, other than your vegetables, your green vegetables, your cruciferous vegetables, those you can have.
And there's other vegetables on here too, like onions. Get your onions, get some garlic in there, get some radishes, tomatoes, carrots you can have. Like there's so many other vegetables in here. You can even have wild rice. You can have quinoa, which is a different type of grain. And like he said, you also would want to try to stay away from oats if weight loss is your goal. If it's not, and you just want to eat a little healthier, you can get some gluten-free organic oats, and I have a couple yummy recipes for that also. So that's kind of the vegetable part, and then spice things up. Make sure you're using seasonings. Like get some onion powder, get some garlic powder, garlic granules, get some delicious sea salt, Celtic sea salt, Himalayan pink salt. Get some herbs. Do some cilantro, do basil, oregano, thyme. There's tons of different herbs you can be adding and cooking with. Chili powder if you make some healthy tacos. You can even use some turmeric. There's a lot of seasonings, and when you can season up your vegetables really good, you're gonna like them a lot more. And then you can also add something called balsamic vinegar. So in this, I don't have this on any of the lists, but you can be using things for sure like apple cider vinegar. We're going to be doing a short video on that eventually. You can use things like balsamic vinegar. It makes your vegetables taste super yummy. You can use distilled vinegar as well, but apple cider vinegar is really great. We'll talk more about down the road on that. And then also, what to drink. You're probably okay, well, I can have water. What else can I drink? What else can they drink?
Well, there's a few different options, guys. We really are encouraging you to stay away from excess caffeine in this challenge. It's okay to have some in the form of tea, or even, I'll show this off. This is called Zevia. So I don't know if you guys have ever had this. This is actually a carbonated drink, a soda, that I think tastes pretty awesome. It's going to taste similar to a Diet Pop, but it doesn't have any of the artificial sweeteners in it. It just has a natural herb called stevia that sweetens it, and natural flavor. So I really like these. It makes me feel like I'm drinking pop. And like I said, if you are having a hard time with caffeine withdrawals, you can get like a Mountain Dew flavor or a Coca-Cola flavor, and that can help you through that a little bit. So that's an amazing one. Kombucha, if you've ever heard of kombucha, is a fermented tea. So any of those tea drinks are going to be awesome. If you are a coffee drinker and you do want to try some decaf coffee, there's this instant decaf coffee, Mountain Hagen's.
Mountain Hagen. It's just instant. I know it's not perfect. There is a couple other good brands. Purity has a good water processed decaf too. That'd be one we'd recommend if you want really good, healthy decaf coffee. Purity is amazing. So those are kind of the drinks you're gonna, you can make like lemonade or something too. Just don't be adding sugar. You could use like some raw honey to sweeten it. You could use some stevia to sweeten it, different stuff like that. So that's kind of your drinks. I didn't realize we forgot some other foods in here that you can have. You can also have lentils and beans.
Yep.
So you can have black beans, garbanzo beans, pinto beans. You can make some homemade hummus. You could do some lentil noodles. If you can see, these are Barilla, maybe?
Or yeah.
These are literally just red lentil. There's nothing else in here. So this is a really great option. You can make a yummy cold pasta salad with these. You just want to make sure you're looking and making sure that there's no wheat or anything like that in the ingredients. Yep, just lentils or beans. There's a lot of different kinds.
Yeah, those actually taste amazing. We had those tonight. So.
Yeah. And then these are a couple other random things. We'll get into the sweeteners here in a second. This is something if you're like, okay, I'm a big cereal person. I really like my cereal.
Yep.
This I know is a really big step for you because cereal has a lot of sugar in it. But this is something, and grains obviously. But this is something that can be really yummy. It's called Lakanto granola. It's sugar-free, well, no sugar added. This one is cinnamon almond crunch. So literally in the ingredients, it's coconut, sunflower seeds, Lakanto monk fruit sweetener, almonds, coconut oil, tapioca fiber, chia seeds, cinnamon sea salt, and then some natural vanilla flavor. So
real clean. Really
clean. This is yummy. You could take this and make your own cereal. If I wouldn't recommend having this every day, but if you're like, hey, I just want something similar. And then different milk options. If you're used to drinking cow's milk, try some kind of nut milk or goat milk or something. I will say a lot of people don't usually like goat milk, so I'm not gonna say that tastes really good. It's hard to find one that actually tastes good. So we like to opt for nut milks. And this is macadamia. This is macadamia nut milk. You can do almond. What else? Coconut. There's flax. Pretty much any nut there's a milk for nowadays. The ones that I'm gonna say to avoid avoid soy milk, please, and avoid rice milk, because those are high in sugar and soy is just not good for us. So, and that is one of the main things that we're avoiding. And then there's a couple, like if you just need some quick snacky stuff, if you like beef jerky, there's some good jerky you can get. This is called, this is Carne beef jerky. This is super simple. It really doesn't have a lot of ingredients in it. There's a whole bunch of other ones out there too. You can even make your own. Just make sure you're not using soy in it, and you gotta be careful because a lot of beef jerky has soy sauce or soy in it. This literally has beef, water, and then seasonings, and that's it. So this is super simple, nice, really, good high in protein, no sugars, really great way to go. If you need something for your sweet tooth, which will bring us into our sweeteners and things, which don't forget with the vegetables, obviously you're gonna have your lettuces, your spinach, your kale, microgreens, all that type of thing. I don't know if we mentioned that, but remember you're gonna want greens as well in your diet here. But for sweeteners, these are really yummy. These are called Dr. John's Healthy Sweets. These are just butterscotch flavor. But Dr. John's has a whole bunch of different kinds. These are xylitol sweetened candies. Those can be yummy. Kids like them. I know my nieces and nephews like them. But those are really good option. We technically don't really make a lot of desserts, but if I do, I have some really good gluten-free, no sugar added recipes we can share with you. But I have one example. We'll talk about some sweeteners here. Do you want to talk about stevia? And then we got honey, maple syrup.
Stevia we actually kind of touched on before with the Zevia drink, but this is like what organic liquid stevia looks like. If you can see that, it just kind of comes in a dropper. And it's pretty strong, so you only need usually a dropper full or two, depending on who you are.
Maybe not even that.
I like it a little sweeter, but it's just kind of personal taste. So stevia is a really good sweetener. It's herbal. It has no effect on your blood sugar. It has no calories. I guess the only knock on stevia can be a little bitter. if you
It's
have
only
too much.
bitter if you put too much. It's very, very sweet though. So some people either like it or they hate it. We love it. I use a granulated stevia when I'm baking, and I'll show that in the future what I use for that. And then also on this, you could use raw honey. So make sure when you're looking for honey, make sure that it's raw and not processed, that it's raw. That's the best option for honey. And then you could do some organic maple syrup if you wanted. You could do some birch xylitol. That's another one of our favorites. You just got to be really careful if you have dogs. They cannot get a hold of it because it is poisonous to them. But we do like using that also. But those are going to be really your main sweeteners. Things you could use also, this is a low glycemic sweetener, would be coconut sugar. And to me, that kind of has more of a brown sugar slight taste a little bit. I don't use it much, but I know some people that do that like it when they bake food, that type of thing. So yeah, stevia is really good. But other than that, those are kind of the main ones. We want you guys to avoid cane sugar, the artificial sweeteners, artificial colors, and artificial flavors. Kind of when you're looking at ingredients behind stuff, you're really gonna be shopping in the fresh foods section. You're not gonna be very much in the other aisles, unless you're getting some canned stuff or maybe like some lentil noodles or beans or something. But you're gonna kind of be focusing on those fresh food aisles, your meats, your veggies, your fruits, even frozen veggies you can do too. But avoiding that extra, processed sugar, grains like wheat and gluten, corn as well, and then soy too, your dairy, like we talked about, cow dairy. Avoiding soda pop, obviously, because that has a lot of sugar, and that's why we like Zevia. Corn syrup, that's one that you'll see and use in a lot of stuff, so we're going to be avoiding that. So nothing with corn syrup, nothing with soybean oil, that's used in a ton of like dressings and things. No vegetable oil or hydrogenated oils. Remember, focus on that avocado, that grape seed, that extra virgin, the coconut oil. Switch your oils out for those good fats, those good oils. And then something called MSG, which is monosodium glutamate. That's used in a lot of lots of different products, whether it's colorings, baking, like mixes, breads, all kinds of stuff. It will be labeled as MSG, so you can quickly look at ingredient lists, and if it's not in there, you're fine. But yeah, those are kind of the ones to stay away from. I mean, if you want to get really technical, you don't want to be having any Splenda, no aspartame.
Yeah, the artificial sweeteners.
Yep, you're keeping it really pretty basic. And then other than that, we can kind of share what does like a typical day look like if you're doing like something like this, a non-inflammatory diet when you're eating. So if you want to share kind of what you want, and then I'm going to give an example.
Yeah, so just one more thing on the sweetener side that we didn't mention was monk fruit.
Yes.
Monk fruit is actually one of our favorite ones that we use a lot. And they, Lakanto, the same company that makes that granola we showed you, they make a powdered nut monk fruit that's organic, and it's amazing. It's super sweet. You can bake with it. You can make your smoothies with it. You can put it in your coffee.
It's pretty good, yeah.
Lots of things that you can do with that sweetener. And then on that front, maybe I'm just speaking to people because I have a sweet tooth, but there's other things you can do if you absolutely need something. Lily's makes a really good dark chocolate that has no sugar. It's actually sweetened with stevia. Make sure you opt for the dark chocolate so you're not getting milk in there.
Yep, you got to make sure, because a lot of them will actually have the milk in there still. So you just have to make sure you're getting the right one on that.
And then while we're promoting Lakanto, they actually make a dark chocolate that's sweetened with monk fruit. So both of those companies are good to check into if you're like, I'm just craving good chocolate that actually has a lot of health benefits for you.
And when you are craving, one of the best things to do is actually, add protein to your diet, but then add in those good fats. Like have more avocado, have more coconut, base type things. Because
Yep.
if you're full, you're not going to be as prone to be like, oh, I need something sweet like right now, or I'm going to grab a Snickers bar. Like, if you can focus on and getting good fats and getting plenty of vegetables,
Yep.
all that kind of stuff, set yourself up for success. Make sure that you have enough of those things, so that we're not saying, yep, go ahead, have your Lily's chocolate all the time, because that's not ideal. Now, if you have to do that sometimes, I get it. We're human and we don't expect any of you to be perfect, right?
Yeah.
We're not perfect either. But that's just an option if you're like, okay, I really want a treat, or I want something, or maybe this is a really hard challenge and you've never done anything like this and you just need to take baby steps, then do that. And we'll encourage you
Yeah.
along the way, and we'll be showing different swaps and stuff too. But
Yeah, this is kind of a little bit of a teaser, so we'll be sharing a lot of other practical tips like that. So if you're looking for something sweet, or you might be looking for a substitute for mashed potatoes or rice or whatever, we're going to be coming at you with that kind of stuff daily. So just keep following these updates. This one's a little bit long. Most of them will actually be pretty quick to the point. Here's a tidbit. This one we just had to get through a lot of information. So
yep.
keep watching these, keep going through them, and you'll continue to get those little nuggets throughout the whole month. So I just wanted to
yeah, let's go through a typical day.
encourage you guys that anyone can do this. It sounds a little bit intimidating, but just get prepared, get the right things, focus on what you can have. And a lot of times, I've done this before myself. You get into these situations and you look at the don't list, and you just stare at the don't list, and the don't list is on the fridge, and the don't list goes with you to the grocery store. And when I've changed my mindset and had more success with these things is, okay, what can I have, and let me focus on making those things delicious. Like we talked about, even with the Brussels sprouts, never in a million years would I have thought I'd like those things. But as you go through it, and as people share recipes with you, and you realize, man, these things actually taste pretty darn good. It's just giving it a try, and it's just learning. When you're saying no to those things, you kind of have to learn, okay, how do I get these things that I can eat and make them as yummy and satisfying as possible? So focus on what you can have. And like a typical day, guys, is pretty darn simple from my perspective, but it can be a lot of various things that you can do day to day. But for breakfast, typically you can have something like eggs and avocado, or a lot of times for breakfast you can also have quinoa, or if you're not trying to lose weight,
you can
gluten-free
do some
oatmeal.
fruit too, shakes.
Smoothies are really good for breakfast. We like to do smoothies with fruit and bone broth protein and some good fats in there. It's actually a good way to kind of get all that right in your breakfast. So we'll share some of those recipes too. That's typically what breakfast looks like around here. Nothing too fancy. Just if you're really craving cereal, that Lakanto brand is good. There's other brands that can be okay as well, but they did a really good job of staying away from all grains and all sugar. It's really the only one I've seen that's done all of that, so that's why we shared that one.
Yep. And then eating your proteins again first in your meal. So like if you have like turkey bacon, or it can be regular bacon too, it's always better to opt for no hormone added, no antibiotic, free of all that stuff, kind of pork products and stuff. But if you have that and like avocado, then you'd want to have that bacon, at least some of it first, as you're kind of eating. And then one thing we didn't mention with the vegetables, if you eat some of the vegetables raw, that's really cool because there's a lot of natural enzymes in vegetables, and so that will actually help your pancreas, and other extra enzymes that your body doesn't need that are coming through will get stored and actually help your immune system. And so like I know some raw vegetables can be really fibrous and maybe are a little bit harder to digest for some people, but you can try it. You could do some cauliflower and broccoli and ranch dressing that I'm going to be sharing that you can make. There's some other vegetables, obviously salads and other things that we'll kind of go through that. But yeah, it doesn't have to be complicated. It can be really easy. You know, you could literally just have a superfood shake in the morning, and then for lunch have a chicken salad. You could do something like that, and then maybe have some berries on the side. For a snack, you could have some nuts and seeds, and you know, some jerky or something with that. And then for dinner, you could have some grilled chicken and sauteed vegetables, you know. So something really simple. You can make it delicious, and we'll be sharing a lot of recipes. So we just wanted to go through this with you guys. Hope you're encouraged, and like he said, focus on the things that you can have, and remember your motives of why you're doing this, and what are your goals for this month. Where do you want to see change in your life and in your health? That's really what we're going to be focusing on again. So remember, we also had a verse, which was Proverbs 3:8, talking about refreshment to your bones and health and healing to your whole body. And so remember that, keep that in the front of our mind of why we do what we do on a daily basis. And so if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me or David. In any way, you can send us a message on Facebook, Instagram, via email, whatever. We'll be posting stuff daily and weekly, so stay updated with this, because we're going to be giving you guys a lot of information and tips so that you can succeed. And if it's too much, you don't have to follow all of our stuff if you don't want to, but we want to give you the tools that are going to help you to succeed. So any last words?
Yeah, I mean, guys, we're super proud of you already, and we're going to keep coming at you with more and more information. So just remember, focus on the things that you can have, and we will get through this. If you have any questions, like Melody said, you can drop them in the comments, you can direct message, but I know some of this stuff can be overwhelming sometimes, so even if we can answer a couple questions, I know some people might have different questions depending on where you're at. So we're always happy to do that. Don't hesitate to reach out. And other than that, happy shopping.
Yep, and if we don't see you in another video before the new year, we'll see you in the new year. So all right, guys.